Hey everyone, welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley. And today is our 7th and final Harry Potter mini episode about the books. The final about the books. This is the final book of Harry Potter. We have
Deathly Hallows.
Deathly Hallows. We will have one more kind of bonus mini episode next week, next Friday, kind of covering the movies and how we felt like they were compared to the books. Also wrap up our thoughts overall. We'll talk some more as we do on the podcast. But that's 8. That'll be 8 total mini Harry Potter episodes.
Crazy.
Not too bad for our first bonus series. We did it, guys.
We did it.
They said we couldn't do it, and we did it.
We did.
Nobody said we couldn't do it, but
to our own detriment.
Yeah,
but we did. I'm really excited to talk about it. For anyone who's just hopping on now, this was our first time reading Harry Potter. Not just our first time as adults, our first time period. So this is literally we're done with the series. We finished the whole entire series. We're wrapping it up. We're telling you guys our thoughts about book 7, the finale. I'm just excited. I feel like I'm accepting an award. I'm just excited to be here. Thank you for all of your support on this journey.
Yeah.
It was
I'd like to thank the listeners out there, the encouragers, the people that told us to keep going. It's all going to be okay.
My husband, the crows.
The crows. Thank the crows. Always.
Yeah. It was a journey, guys. It really was. So, we'll get into our, entire plot in 5 sentences or less. We'll tell you guys what we liked, what we didn't like, how we feel generally after now that we're done with Harry Potter, with all the Harry Potter books.
Reading it for the first time as adults.
It was a time. The first little bit will be spoiler free. So the first 5 minutes or so, since this is a mini-sode, we're just going to give you our quick little star review, just to let you know our 1-sentence star review. And then we'll get into spoilers, but we will give you guys the heads up. But before we get into that, we just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And for those of you who've been listening to our mini episode series, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you are new to us. Anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast, including YouTube. That helps us out a lot as well. You can also get bonus content over on Instagram, TikTok. We will be announcing at the end of this episode what our next series will be. There'll be a little bit of a break, so we can actually read those books, but you'll know. You'll know, and you can join us in the read too if you want. Yeah, because it's another fan favorite that we didn't read growing up. So we'll find out if that was worth the hype.
A lot of you guys are rereading right now anyway. I've been seeing a lot of hype about it right now. So stay tuned till the end. We'll let you know what we're doing after this in a couple weeks, and you guys, I think, will be into it.
Yeah.
I think you'll be really into it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so spoiler-free 1-sentence review with the stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Listen, I'll give it 4 stars. Okay. My sentence is as follows. I can't believe I cannot give this book 5 stars. I really thought we'd go out with a bang. But here we are with a 4-star review, meaning it ain't going to stick with me, No
it
bang.
Ain't
for me. It's just, okay, all right. There we go.
Your 1-sentence reviews are always so funny. It's I'm just going to tell you how I feel. Yeah.
Pretty much,
So my 1-sentence book review.
And your star rating. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I gave this book 3 stars.
Ooh, brutal.
Yeah. Because while this book was entertaining enough, kind of, as an adult reading it, I just don't think that it is developed enough in plot or characters to give it anything higher than a 3 stars for a finale of a series that was over 3,000 pages long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I looked it up. It's about 1,500 pages shorter than Throne of Glass. So it isn't as long as Throne of Glass, but come on.
Come on.
Come on. Okay. All right. So that's the spoiler-free portion, guys. We're gonna get into the spoilers, I feel like.
Wah, wah, wah. That's your cue to exit if you don't want any spoilers. Brought to you by Ashley's Weird Sounds. You guys.
Brought to you by Ashley's Weird Sounds, and Liz literally, I was cracking myself up earlier because I was writing this 5-sentence recap.
Yeah.
In between my clients this morning because I was like reading until last night or whatever, and so I needed to like let this marinate a little bit before I like wrote my 5-sentence summary. It's like why is the quality of your work suffering? Because I'm writing Harry Potter review sentences. That's why. Yeah. Because I was like laughing. I was like, what else would you do when you own a business and you do skincare services, but write Harry Potter sentences in between?
Yeah.
Of course, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I think for me with my stars too, 4 is definitely generous. 4 is me trying to take into account, like, what I would have given it as a kid reading this. Because the ending does wrap up and we kind of do get all of our answers. But golly, that was a journey I didn't enjoy. Like, the whole... let me just say this, okay, before we continue on. You know how we like joke about the first book in every fantasy series, it doesn't get good until the last 25%. You have to go 75% and then, oh my gosh, everything's crazy. Usually, then all the books stay crazy and you keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
The problem I feel with these Harry Potter books is that every single book is like that. Yeah. Every single book drags for the first 75%, and it's a lot of unnecessary.
So much information.
Not world building, just like a lot of unnecessary crap.
Yeah.
And again, it could be an adolescent thing. It could be a nostalgia thing. There are some adults that are reading it for the first time that completely connect with it, and I wish I was you. Because I
didn't either.
Didn't.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked. That's what I mean by like, I thought for sure that last book would have to be 5 stars. We have to go out with such a big, impactful bang that everything else, a lot of times when we're reviewing multiple books in a fantasy series, my star ratings will kind of go up or shift as I continue because it's like, oh, okay, now this all is starting to make sense. No. If anything, things go down.
Yeah. So let's just, I have to ask you because I was thinking about this. So like if you had to rate the series as a whole, what would you give it?
I think we need to marinate on that, Liz.
Okay. So we'll answer that in episode 8. Okay.
Not to be like a tease, you guys, but I literally need to think on that.
Yeah.
We'll just focus on this book as a singular piece of work for now. And then next week when we talk about the movies, let's talk about our overall thoughts. Because I'm going to have a lot. And I don't have the bandwidth yet to digest it.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I feel like, I mean, to put it just into perspective, as far as like just how things that we've rated already, I did not rate any of these books higher than 4-star. There was not a 5-star read in the bunch. So the series is definitely not a 5-star series.
I think I did give a 5-star to one of them. I have to go back and think.
I think
and
you
now
did too.
I think it deserves a 4-star. No, because it was because the bar was so low, because I think we had just gotten off of, Goblet of Fire was the one that we probably least liked. And so, like, anything was better than that.
Yeah, true.
So, I almost felt like I was too, okay, this is great.
Too hyped. Yeah.
So, I don't even know if it deserves that now. So, like I said, if anything, now things are going down. So, sorry, but these are just our thoughts and opinions. So, if you don't like it, sorry. It's all right, though. You'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
I'm sure that I like things that you hate. It's all good. It's all good.
That's what makes it interesting. All
right.
So,
let's go, guys.
So let's get into spoilers.
Triangle of Doom coming.
Okay. So this is the spoiler section for anyone who doesn't want to hear a spoiler. Here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. 5 sentences or less. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Okay. Harry helps the Dursleys go into hiding, then leaves Privet Drive for the last time with an entourage of 6 of his friends disguised as him. They encounter Voldemort and Death Eaters, and while Harry makes it, Mad-Eye dies and George loses an ear.
one. Which was like, oh, so that what if they just killed all the Harrys, though? Well, that was kind of messed up. But anyways.
Yeah. Harry, Ron, and Hermione get ready to go on their quest to find the remaining Horcruxes after learning much more about Dumbledore in his obituary, and after being given the snitch from Harry's first match, the Sword of Gryffindor, though the Minister of Magic keeps that one, a Deluminator, and a book of fairy tales from Dumbledore's will.
2.
Bill and Fleur's wedding is ransacked by Death Eaters, so Harry, Ron, and Hermione basically go on the run, where they find out Bellatrix stole the locket Horcrux from Sirius's old house, that the Sword of Gryffindor is a fake, but the real one can destroy Horcruxes, and in one of their fights, Harry's wand is destroyed.
Oh, 3. Sorry, I had a falsie in there. I love how disappointed you sound at each of these sentences.
Okay, all right. A Doe Patronus, who we later learn is Snape, leads Harry to discover the real Sword of Gryffindor so they can destroy the Horcruxes. They learn from Xenophilius about the Deathly Hallows, the Elder Wand, Resurrection Stone, and Invisibility Cloak that were made by Death to give the owner mastery over death itself, before he sells them out to the Death Eaters who lock them up at Lucius Malfoy's house, which they escape on a dragon, with help from Dobby, who dies.
4.
Yes. Dobby, who dies. Sad. Just kidding. So sad. Finally, they go to Hogwarts to destroy the diadem of Ravenclaw. We find out Snape has been good this whole time, but Voldemort kills him. Neville kills Nagini with the Sword of Gryffindor. Tonks, Lupin, and Fred die in battle, and Harry figures out that he is the last Horcrux, so he lets Voldemort kill him, but he doesn't die, because Voldemort used his protected blood to reconstitute himself, so Harry kills him in a duel, and they live happily ever after.
5. The end, baby.
The end. The end. There we are. I'm winning, but it doesn't feel like I'm winning.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding. It's like you're getting treasure, but are you? But did you?
It's like, it's because we were let down. We were sold a bag of, what is it called? Like bad goods? No, bag of bad goods.
A lemon. We were sold a lemon.
We asked for lemonade. Nick Miller making lemonade out of lemons. No, wait, making lemons out of lemonade since 1986 or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
We're just, was it overhyped? Was it the age? We're just.
I think it's all of the above. Like, I truly think that the age has a lot to do with it. 100%. I also think that it was overhyped completely.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like as far as fantasy goes, it's like, okay, question marks. It's like the lady with all the question marks and like math equations floating around her head. Like, okay, like, I mean, I know a lot of people who read this as adults. I actually got some really interesting feedback from one of my friends today. She said she watched the movies first and then read the books after, and she thinks that as an adult, that's actually a better way to do it, because the movies she liked better, and she's like, then it's almost like the books are just kind of like a little extra. Like they're like a boost of more information than the movies give you. And I'm like, interesting. Okay, that's an interesting take. We'll see. You know, I haven't watched all the movies yet.
I mean, what was it? Just four scorns and 7 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago is when I watched all the movies with my friend. You know, we watched one a month for a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, whatever, more or less. And I ended up forgetting most of it, which was good. I felt like, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe the movies were better. Ooh, dare I say. We'll see. I kind of am like, now I'm not looking forward to watching the rest of the movies, and I still got 4 more to go. I'm like, oh no. Great.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to, I'm having the opposite. Yeah. I'm looking forward to watching them. I've only watched the first 1.5 so far. And I am excited to do like a little marathon this week and watch them, because who knows, maybe they will be really good and I'll like them better.
Well, I think they trim the excess, you know? So you kind of don't need to focus on all the random crap going on that actually wasn't important. But again, like maybe if you were a middle schooler reading this, you like all that like side stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's exciting. Yeah. But I'm always looking for like, what is this going to mean? What is that going to mean? And sometimes it's not. Most of the time in these books is not that. It's just a little fun side quest. And I'm just like, no, thanks. So crazy. Wow. There you go.
I can't even believe that we're done. So my favorite part, I'll just say it. I think my favorite part of this book was actually finding out more about Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I thought that I was like, oh, we're finally getting some character development here. Little too late, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, I feel like his death would have been more impactful had we known anything about him before he died. I don't know. But I did like the fact that we did get to know more about him and his history in relation to, obviously, Regulus and who's the other one? The other, like, bad wizard or whatever who they made the spin-off movies about.
And he's in, Fantastic Beasts. Now I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
but,
Grindelwald. Grindelwald.
Yeah, that actually helped clarify things for me because I watched Fantastic Beasts after, but I was so confused. And my friend was telling me, like, oh, it would make sense if you read the books. Like, what's this thing with Grindelwald or whatever? Like, so yeah, that was kind of cool to know his history for sure.
So I would say that was definitely my favorite part about this book, was just getting a little bit of that backstory. And also the backstory with Snape, too. Like the flashback of how he's been, like, in love with Lily, and he's actually been protecting Harry this whole time. It's just, I feel like, again, maybe it was written this way because of the fact that that's how a kid brain would digest it the best. But I needed that information books ago.
Yeah, to connect with the characters.
Yeah,
that was her grand reveal, is like to get to know the characters more. Don't like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, we needed.
It's kind of lazy. I don't know.
I felt that way too. You know, and again, my friend who I was talking to said that when you see that flashback in the movie of Snape being in love with Harry's mom and protecting him for all of these years, it's like this tragic, like, gut-wrenching moment. Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm looking forward to that because I'm like, okay, maybe that will be the connection that I need to see. And then obviously Snape dies, and so you really feel for him in that moment. I'm like, okay, maybe. But in the books, it does not come across.
None of the deaths, really, except one I'll talk about, come across. Okay. Like, it's crazy. So what was your least favorite part?
So my least favorite part was literally that it was as easy as... Just kidding, Harry, you're not dead.
Yeah.
You're actually just going to come right back to life and then just kill him.
Yeah.
You're just in a duel, you just kill him, he's dead. It was way too tidy of an ending. And I already, like, I was really, like, I honestly got excited when I found out that Harry was the last Horcrux. Because I was like, what if, because I'm the type of person where if I hear a spoiler, I literally just forget it and push it out of my mind and don't remember it at all. And so I'm like, what if Harry dies at the end of these books? That would make the ending excellent.
Like, because that's why everybody's obsessed, because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, so heart-wrenching, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and no, he just comes right back to life and then just kills the bad guy. No muss, no fuss. Over it goes. Yeah. I didn't like that. I felt like the ending was very underwhelming.
But I do understand why he survived, because he had that protection spell on him.
I understand it too, but I need more. I just need more. Like, I get it too, but I need more from a story to really be invested. And I felt like that was just, we read so many thousands of pages and then that's the ending. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like we deserved more than that.
We as readers putting the time and effort.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part of the book was just finding out that Dumbledore's death was planned and orchestrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Snape wasn't, like, bad. Only because it was so annoying in the last book that we were just, like, left with not how to feel. It still didn't make me feel anything. But I was like, okay, it's my favorite part because it was an answer. Okay. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it was a pity favorite part.
Yeah, but it was the least bit satisfying. I think that's what it was. It was like, oh, I'm getting a little satisfaction out of finding that out and knowing that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I feel like I wasn't feeling very satified with most of the other things in these books. And so I feel like I could see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Cool. Glad we got that taken care of. So it would have pissed me off if we still didn't really like know what was going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, 100%.
So because I didn't get pissed off, you get a reward.
So then what was your least favorite part, if you had to pick one?
My least favorite part, however, I finally actually felt something for a second. So take that with what you will. Because Fred's death was brutal. How is it, though? I feel like it's my least favorite part because it's like, why do I actually like feel myself tearing up when he's dying as a side character?
Who's barely
Why do we have more character development with the Weasley twins than anybody else's death?
Yeah.
Like, why is that the only one that stuck out to me as like, oh, especially because like it's, to me, twin deaths are like exceptionally brutal, where one dies and one is left behind. And they're like freaking aspiring business owners. They're doing so much good in the world. So why do we have so much? The worst thing about it is that we have so much character development for them, but I don't feel anything when Sirius dies, allegedly. And Dumbledore dies. Like, obviously we're not going to feel anything for the Dobby guy, but like, you know, a lot of people died in this book. And that was the only one that really stuck out. And it's like, did she need to kill him? She could have easily killed, but then if she killed Percy, who was super annoying, everybody would be like, well, whatever, you know? Whatever, yeah. But it's like, you killed one of the only characters that I liked.
Maybe that's what it was. It was like, there's so many characters in this book.
I'm not going to give you a point for that. Like, you know?
Well, I mean, and like Tonks dies, freaking Lupin dies. Yeah. All like a ton of the main characters die. Mad-Eye dies.
But I only really felt like a profound moment, I guess enough, because it's such a familia like thing. The twins were built up so much. You know, I don't know. So,
and just
I guess I would have wanted to see that more. It's not bad that happened. I mean, it is, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not
totally.
But I wanted to feel what I felt for him about each character that passed.
Totally, or more even. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, because they're substantially more essential, especially the Lord of the Phoenix and all that. So, yeah,
I completely agree. Completely agree.
All right, so who was your favorite character in this book? Was there any? I know this was a hard one to answer when I was going through it. All of these.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, I have a least favorite character for sure. Okay. Here's the thing. I'm going to cheat. I feel like my least favorite character is also my most favorite character because of the fact that they stood out to me and no one else really did.
Fair. Let's hear it.
So I feel like in this book, Bellatrix was my least favorite character, my most favorite character. And interestingly, because I've not seen this movie, I found out today that Helena Bonham Carter plays her. And I was like, that tracks. It tracks so close.
Yes, she is literally perfect for her.
Yeah. So the reason why I would say that she's my most favorite character in this book is because of the fact that I feel like her character is like plays the role that she's supposed to play really well as like the super nefarious, unhinged, crazy henchman, you know, sidekick to the Dark Lord, right? It's like, I feel like very important. The reason why I don't like her is because I feel like her character was very like, you know, I feel like the best way to describe this was like you're dealing with, and I was talking about this earlier, you're dealing with some really heavy topics in this book, almost like it's eugenics. It's like, you know, I'm not trying to say this insensitively, but it's almost like very like Holocaust adjacent.
Oh, totally. The whole time I was reading this book, I was thinking that.
Yeah, and I feel like her character reminded me so much, like when they're doing the trials, when they're torturing people, when she's, you know, destroying people's minds through like mind torture or whatever you want to call it. It was like so dark. And that's why I didn't like her. But then at the same time, I did like her because I feel like her character actually like meant something. Like it made me feel something, you know?
And she was consistent.
Yeah. So that's who I pick for those reasons. What about you?
All right, so favorite character has to go to Mr. Neville Longbottom this time.
Oh.
Because he stood up to Dumbledore. No, sorry. No, he stood up to Voldemort. I typoed. After the defeat, like, he still stood up to him. So Harry's allegedly dead. Longbottom comes in and is still like, we're not going to do this. Even though Harry's dead, you still don't stand a chance. And yells, Dumbledore's army! And killed the snake.
Yeah, with the freaking
so
sword of Gryffindor.
Badass.
That
Good
was
for
cool.
you, Longbottom. Cool. You know? And he was, so he's great. Least favorite. Okay. Honestly, overall, I'm going to say Voldemort. Not because of why you think. Oh, because you're going to pick the villain.
Because he sucks as a villain?
Because he is one of the worst villains I have ever read or watched. He's dull. He is constantly bested by a child and children. He does nothing. Yeah, he's one of the worst villains ever. So I could never, like, Bellatrix is more scary than him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, Umbridge, more scary than him.
Umbridge, worst villain of all time. Like, Voldemort, give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break. So, for that reason, and that reason alone, I'm out. Worst villain in history. Like, how could she... I mean, it wasn't until... Was it just the last book that we found out more of his story? All of the... Yeah. It's like you said in one of the episodes we did. It all comes down to character development. I think it was very poorly done. Mm-hmm. We got the world building. That's down. We can envision ourselves there. Yeah. But we can't envision these people, like, really, and their motives, and it's crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, you know, we've talked a lot about, obviously, the reason why we read this, we weren't allowed to, is banned in our households. Truthfully, you know, we've talked a lot about how that was for the reasons of magic and witchcraft and, you know, astrology, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I feel the same way about this book. I don't think that anything necessarily stood out, aside from how dark it did get with, like I was talking about before, you know, you're dealing with eugenics as an overall topic of the book, which is pretty heavy. I don't know that a lot of kids would really pick up on that or see parallels to real life when you're reading it as a little kid. So, you know, maybe that's good, maybe it's not good. But I would see that as being maybe the only potentially... I don't even want to say problematic, because it's not, but, you know, something that you might have to explain. Like if you had a kid who was reading it and was wanting to know more about that.
Yeah. I think that, well, as far as what would have banned it goes for me, that's the Deathly Hallows for sure. Resurrection stones and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Would have done it.
Yeah.
But I think I do appreciate when literature makes parallels to, you know, things that have happened in real life, like the Holocaust, to show another, like, in another light, and maybe a more digestible light for children of why this is bad. Because it's really coming down to that, is like hurting people up and killing them for the way that they're born, you know, or banning them or whatever, putting them in jail, whatever it is. And I think it makes it more digestible for kids that are learning about all of that. So they can have a different reference point, you know, and just know, like, shit like this did happen in real life. So
it's pretty heavy stuff. So depending on when you read it, at what age, I could see how it would need maybe a little bit more explanation or context. Reminded me a lot of, like, reading Wicked, and about how that has a lot to do with, like, animals being sentient beings and how we shouldn't be mistreating them either, you know? And so I feel like that kind of to me, that made that book a lot.
Sorry, I dropped my water bottle.
That made that series a lot more meaningful to me. Yeah. So I could see how that could come across in these books as well. So yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, how would you say that specifically this book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, made you feel?
Like I just wanted it to be over. Disappointed?
Totally. Disappointed. Yeah. Underwhelmed.
Synonyms. Okay.
Yeah.
You go.
Giving and receiving. Receiving and giving.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it made me feel underwhelmed. It made me feel kind of like, man, I really wish there would have been more to that.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like unsatisfied. You know, but overall, am I glad that we read it? Yes, I am. However, if I was not reading it in the context of this podcast and with Ashley, I probably would have DNF'd it.
That is exactly what I wanted to ask you. I wrote that down. If you didn't have to read this for the podcast, would you have given up? And at what point would you have given up?
I probably would have given up if I hadn't given up by like book 2 and I had stuck it out. I would have given up at Goblet of Fire for sure.
Yeah.
Because Goblet of Fire was just so long and so boring.
Yeah.
So, and that's saying a lot because I don't know that I've ever purposefully DNF'd a book before.
Yeah, well, it'd be a DNF a series, so I think that's different.
Yeah.
But you would have done. Not going to continue.
Yeah, I would have decided to just not continue. It just didn't do it for me. And, you know, I know a lot of people who love the movies. And so I'm holding out hope, and you guys will find out next week, you know, holding out hope that like the movies are really good. And that'll be something that I really enjoy and rewatch, you know, like The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff. Maybe around holiday time or whatever. Because I do appreciate the spooky kind of festive holiday vibes.
It's like I can almost touch it. Like I get it. I get why it resonates for some people, but it's like it's just out of my grasp.
Yeah.
That's
it's
what
like
it feels
on the tip of your
like.
tongue. It's not quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm left.
So would you have DNF'd it?
Yeah. Goblet of Fire for sure. I might not have like officially said, okay, I'm done with this series, but it would have been really hard for me to continue after Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, like someday I'll get to it and then you just never get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just Google it, like what happened at the end, and then you're like, okay.
I didn't even care. I don't know, because like, you know, it's a kid's book. Like, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
that's I don't know.
I was holding out hope that like Harry would die.
Because it's just supposed to be this big, profound, epic thing. And sure, the ending was epic. And like, I think the ending is what brings up the star rating for me, because it was good and it did answer some things. But it's just, I don't think every book needs to rev up like that. We're in it. No. We got it. We're good. We're book 7 now. Like, that was a mess, honestly. They were like, I think I texted you, I only had like, 30% left, and they had only gotten the one Horcrux so far. I'm like, how are they going to wrap this up? Yeah. You don't need to take that long, I think. And they're like camping. I'm like, this is stupid. They're at a wedding for like 3 chapters. Like,
I know.
You guys.
Too much.
Drag City. And not in a fun way.
So, we'll just briefly touch on like overall. Yeah. Right? Like our overall feelings. Is that what you were kind of wondering?
I don't know. I think we got it.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, you know, we'll talk about how we feel the movies compared to the books on the, you know, final episode. If we have any wrap up thoughts or star rating for the.
Did you feel like this ending was satisfying in this book?
No. Yeah. Not at all. That's why I rated this book a 3-star. Yeah. I feel like if this was a middle book, I would have probably rated it a 4-star. But because it was the final book, I rated it 3 because I'm like, no, I expected more out of you.
I did. We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you, says Tyra Banks, you know? Enter the gift. Like, I feel like I'm satisfied in the way that like I can move on with my life and never look back.
So satisfied that it's over, basically.
Yeah, and that there's no, I don't have any unanswered questions, you know? Like, I'm good. Okay. Yeah. All right, that's the best that you got. Okay. You know?
Yeah.
So, hey.
Truly.
Guys, did you guys think that we were going to get to this place? I sure didn't. I didn't think this is what we were going to be doing.
We could have told you so.
Maybe. I don't know.
Everyone knew. Dude. And they were like, we're just not going to tell him. We're just not going to tell him.
I know. Is that what? Joke's on us. Well, at least we could say we did it. So I have no regrets. We did it. It was a very difficult journey, but we made it.
It was a difficult journey. We did. Yeah. It makes me look forward to our next journey, which we'll announce in a little bit here.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I have a fun piece of Harry Potter trivia.
All right. Let's hear it.
Which I actually found interesting.
Good.
Okay?
Great.
So I'll just ask you, what do you think would be Voldemort's Boggart?
It's just Harry Potter in diapers running at him. A baby.
No, it would be his own corpse. because he's so afraid of dying.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, and
I
Dumbledore
was
does say that a lot of times. Like, there's things worse than dying. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually found that interesting. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
He's
that's a little piece of trivia that I have.
Terrible villain.
He is terrible. Yeah, I agree. But I did think that at least was a little bit interesting. Oh, I do have one unanswered question. Let's talk about it real quick.
Let's go.
Okay, so obviously Tonks and Lupin had a baby. Mm-hmm. Where'd the baby go?
I don't know. They're just like, oh, sad for you. He just at the end says, oh, I'm sorry that you died and your baby after you just had a baby. And that baby might be part werewolf too.
There. Yeah, but isn't Harry his godfather?
I don't know. There was like
Harry is his godfather.
Maybe he's in. I was barely listening to the prologue where everybody's named after all the people that died, and I was like, oh, cute.
Well,
so maybe one of them
mentioned that he was. They mentioned that he was there, but not as one of. I thought not as one of Harry's kids or whatever. So I was like, okay, so this baby where did he go? So I don't know. That bothered me a little bit. Whatever. Move on.
Can't use any more brain width to do that.
I know, to analyze Harry Potter. Yeah. Guys, we've done it for the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So, we're going to do it for one more week with the movies. So stay tuned for that. We'll give our overall star rating for the series as a whole.
Yep.
But let's announce it.
Yeah.
Let's announce our next series.
And so this
it better
is going to be
let us down.
Well, this one's going to be different.
It will.
Because Harry Potter, we've been told all our lives that we're missing out. We missed the boat, everything. It's supposed to be so good. Mm-hmm. And we were let down. Maybe because it was overhyped. Maybe if we went in blind with coming out of living under a rock, reading a book for the first time, it would have been great. I don't know. But like
our first book ever.
Yeah, first first fantasy book. As a kid, it would, who knows. But this book, however, people dog on all the time. We've only watched the movies. We can't wait because we're hoping it's a hilarious train wreck. So we have very low expectations. So you never know. What is our next series going to be, Liz?
Twilight.
Let's do it.
So exciting. I'm so excited. So we are going to be, reading through. So similar format, guys. Yep. We're going to be reading through all 4 books in the Twilight series. Apparently there's 2 spinoffs.
We're not doing that.
No. So we're doing the first 4, so the core 4 books. So we'll have, one coming out each week, and then we will end with a movie, like our thoughts on the movies as well. And I'm just so excited to get into this because, like you said, it's like our expectations for this are just a silly, stupid good time.
Yeah,
And, Ashley and I, we need to say it, we've never read these. We've only watched the movies. And I've only watched the movies just once.
And a long time ago for me.
And a long time ago. Yeah. And so,
the movies are hilarious. Exciting. At this point, they've become like a cult kitschy thing because they're terrible. They are vibes. The soundtracks are great.
Are pretty good.
And the cinematography with the lighting was great. Acting, we all know. You get some great fun stuff out of it.
Yeah. But, and I'm just excited. I'm excited because, from my perspective, as someone who's never read the books before and isn't really familiar with any of the Twilight lore at this point, aside from just what I know from the movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about it many, many a time. We're into paranormal age gap.
Yeah.
Okay, we are. Like vampire, fae, whatever. Like we're into the paranormal age gap of 500 years or whatever. That's fine. But we're always talking about, 2 adults?
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit struggling. So going into it, I just have to put this out there. I'm a little bit struggling with the whole, she's in high school and he's ancient thing.
And stays in high school always. Yeah. So maybe we'll find out more that is less unsettling. Maybe she was held back a few years and she's really 18. I don't know.
I hope so. If not, we have questions. So anyways, I'm going into it with an open mind, but I think it's going to be a terrible good time. I'm excited for the spooky season vibes because we're getting into it.
Vampires, werewolves.
Vampires.
It should be, what it is.
I know. I'm excited. I'm I'm thrilled to start something different and a bit more lighthearted than Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And just go from there. So I think also we're going to do things a little bit differently this time, where we're going to go ahead and put up all the Fable chats right out of the gate. So for books 1 through 4, just so that you guys can hop on and read in whatever, if you only want to read book 2, because that was your favorite, you can hop on and do that. If you want to get ahead of us and go for it, do that. If you want to hop on later, go for it. So it's going to be a lot more... we're not going to release them as we're reading them. We're just going to do it all in the beginning so that everyone can kind of just choose their own adventure. And that's over at Fable, at Besties and the Book Club.
Yeah, especially because we are going to be taking a bit of a 2-week break for these mini-sodes. And after the movie one. So we'll have the movie one for you guys next week with our overall thoughts on the series as well. And then 2-week break, mini episodes, and we'll be back in action. And some of these, Liz and I might be able to film in person. She's coming to visit. It'll be so fun. So we're excited. We got some fun already Twilight content we'll be posting for you guys too. We're excited.
Yes.
So make sure to join us there for that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. I think that about wraps up the Harry Potter books. We'll catch you next week for the movies.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you guys so much. It means so much to us. You took time out of your day and your book to come hang out and chat with us. Appreciate it so much. Let us know your thoughts on the series, this book. Are we alone? Let us know that we're not alone. Or we are.
Alone.
Go yell at us. I don't know. Do whatever you want. But at Instagram and TikTok, Besties the Books Podcast. Also, make sure to follow us and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcasts, including YouTube. But you guys, we'll see you next Tuesday and Friday for a little while, and then not, and then we're back again.
And then we'll be back again.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.